This is WYNT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, we're going to begin with some breaking news and a major economic development announcement. An aluminum product supplier from Canada will locate its first United States facility near Hazard. Dashcore Aluminum says it plans to invest nearly $20 million and create up to 265 jobs. Dashcore will take over the former American Woodmark facility in Perry County's Coalfields Industrial Park. Operations are expected to begin by the end of this year, and recruiting and hiring will begin immediately. We'll have much more on this breaking news, a major economic development announcement for Perry County and the region tonight at 5:30 and 6. Yesterday, a Floyd County jury ruled a former employee for the Kentucky Cabinet for Health and Family Services was demoted for reporting the Floyd County office was understaffed. The jury returned a unanimous verdict in favor of the woman. Her lawyer, Jerry Patton, says fewer employees in the department means it takes longer to help those in need. WYMT's Macy Marie is live in Prestonsburg with more. Macy?
Steve, I'm standing outside of attorney Jerry Patton's office. He says they got the verdict back yesterday for this case they've been working on since back in 2016. A jury agreed that Angela Stumbo Baldwin was demoted for reporting understaffing when she worked at the Floyd County, Kentucky Cabinet for Health and Family Services back in 2010 to 2012. Patton says in court the state never denied they were understaffed during that time.
The state never denied the fact that it was chronically understaffed. They've been understaffed for years. I don't know their current condition, whether that's changed or not, but I do know for a fact by admission on their part and by what my client told me that for a significant number of years this office has been chronically understaffed.
Now, the jury only took about an hour and a half to reach that verdict. Just moments ago, I was scrolling through my email, and we did get a response from a representative with the Kentucky Cabinet for Health and Family Services. I'll go ahead and read that to you all. It says, while this occurred under the prior administration in 2012, we did a thorough review of the evidence, and it was clear Ms. Stumbo Baldwin's demotion was based solely on her work performance. We are disappointed that the jury rejected overwhelming evidence, and the Cabinet is in the process of evaluating whether to appeal this verdict. So clearly disagreeing with the verdict there. For now, live in Floyd County, Macy Marie, back to you.
All right, Macy, thank you for that live report. City officials in Pineville met with employees to discuss the future of the town's hospital today. Pineville Mayor Scott Maiden met with hospital employees, encouraging them to keep working while the city and hospital continue to talk about how to move forward without closing the hospital. Many employees said after the meeting they felt uplifted and are thankful the city is stepping in. Lake Cumberland looks a lot different today than it did earlier this year after record flooding, and that is great news heading into the summer boating season. WYMT's Phil Pendleton returned to the lake today and has our update.
3 months ago, Lake Cumberland reached a historic level. It was 756 feet above sea level, and since then it has dropped 33 feet. And people here on Lake Cumberland say they are ready for the summertime crowd that will start arriving 2 weeks from today.
It was a job that saw crews of people working 24/7 after heavy rains caused the reservoir to swell to a height in late February never seen before. Burnside Marina and Waitsboro Landing were inundated with logs, trash, and other debris that came down the Cumberland River. Some feared the lake would not be ready for the summer boating season. This after parking lots were covered and walkways were damaged.
We lost a lot of anchors because of the elevation going up so much. Cables weren't long enough. But we've got everything back under control pretty well. A couple of weeks away from the big first holiday of the season.
There is still some debris to be cleaned up. As you can see, there are tree logs and some garbage to be cleaned up, but they say that come Memorial Day weekend, this lake is going to look better than it has on any other Memorial Day weekend that they can remember. On Lake Cumberland, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
Marina managers we spoke to say most of their reservations are sold out for the Memorial Day weekend, which is usually the case for the start of the summer season.
And that cold front is still slowly making its way into the mountains, but good news is it's lost all those rain chances, and we've seen a little bit more sunshine today, I think, than expected. But you'll notice UVA-wise, we did start out with those mostly cloudy skies turning into partly cloudy, and we see those turn back to mostly cloudy skies as we head into those overnight hours. But those partly cloudy skies over into Prestonsburg, looking at that Stonecrest cam. Hopefully you got out and enjoyed today a little bit, but you notice we started out with those clouds, a few rain chances mainly to our north, but that cold front is bringing more cloud cover out to our west. That'll continue to trek into our area as we head really into those overnight hours. So you'll notice a little bit cooler out to the west, but here we're still pretty warm into those mid to upper 70s, and with those dew points into the lower 60s, well, it's actually feeling a little bit muggy out there as well, but that'll definitely change as we head really into the weekend. So we have another system that's working its way into the mountains after that cold front pushes through. Sunshine does return at some point and is looking like a nice new work week ahead. I'll have those details coming up in just a little bit. Steve.
All right, Paige, thank you. The 34th Big Sandy Senior Games kicked off this morning, and today's big event, bowling. More than 100 participants from the Big Sandy region spent the morning seeing how well they could compete against other bowlers. And do not let their age deceive you. Strike after strike, there were some bowlers scoring in the mid-200s. For those of you who don't bowl, 300 is a perfect game. Although it is competitive, volunteers say it's also like one big family.
Yes, it is. It's like, well, also it's like a big community. Like some of these seniors don't see each other till this time of the year from other counties, and they're chatting, catching up, and they just love to see people from other centers.
This is just the first part of the Big Sandy Senior Games. Next week starts the outdoor games, and we'll have more tonight at 6. Several Kentucky students won the 2019 Public Service Recognition Week poster contest. 3 of them were from right here in the mountains. Cooper James Bradley from Jackson Independent, Lindsay Steyer from Wrigley Elementary in West Liberty, and Mahala Mounts from Meese Middle School in Somerset took home honors. First place winners were awarded $50 and a metal printing of their artwork. You can see the posters online at WYMT.com. Several Virginia State Police troopers, including 2 from Southwest Virginia, were honored yesterday in Richmond. Trooper Lucas Dow from Smythe County, who was killed during a drug raid back in February, was honored as part of the service. His picture will now hang in a memorial gallery at the VSP Academy. 12 other troopers, including Trooper Robert Giles from Wise County, who died 65 years ago, were also honored. If you plan on heading to Dollywood this weekend, expect a big crowd. Dolly Parton herself was in Pigeon Forge today. Park officials are celebrating the grand opening of its latest expansion, Wildwood Grove. It is inspired by Parton's childhood in East Tennessee and draws on the natural beauty of the area. It will feature 11 themed attractions. The U.S.-China trade war escalated overnight, with the U.S. raising tariffs or taxes on billions of dollars worth of items made in China but sold in the United States. The U.S. raised tariffs from 10% to 25%. China says it will respond, and higher tariffs on U.S.-made goods are likely. U.S. farmers already impacted by trade tensions could be hit harder. The new tariffs on Chinese goods could be passed on to consumers if they remain in effect for an extended period of time. And let's see how this affected the numbers on Wall Street on this Friday. The Dow actually closed up today more than 113 points. Coming up, we'll take you to parts of Texas that are dealing with flooding that officials are comparing to what they saw during Hurricane Harvey.
And those soggy conditions return back to the mountains, but for how long? We'll break down that full forecast in just a few short minutes.